Uh, Today's video will be about the economy. And recently I've just seen the stock markets take a dive. So I've seen the stock markets around the world take a crash. Anyways, it seems like it's a world event, not only in the Asian, European, and the North American stock markets. So I guess in the past videos, I've always stressed put options and bear market mutual funds, and basically what those two are betting that the exactly what happened is basically everything went down the tubes, everything went down the drain. So um, anyone who've done massive amounts of put options where they are betting that the stocks will go down in worth, and anyone who put bear market mutual funds in have made massive profits. Anyways, that put aside, no big deal. I just wanted to talk about the economy, and I think the economy has been doing what what everybody kind of knew what was going to happen, and that is that we live in a cyclical market, and every five or so many years, there's a massive downturn. So you may have a 5 years of good upward swing, but then you have a massive downturn. So um, uh, I think none of the sectors and industries were immune to the downturn in October. So none of what these sectors there were no immunity to the sectors. So precious metals, especially like rhodium and all the other metals as well, took a splash dive. That's right, a splash dive. Um, what happened to the stock markets all around the world? They took a splash dive. What happened to mutual funds and all kinds of investments? They all took a dive, a negative G0 dive, basically. And so wherever people actually invested in, people lost a lot of their investments. So, anyways, I think that the people that were holding on to just pure cold cash did pretty well. But it also depends on what type of cash and what foreign currencies they might have held on to, because they also took a serious dive as well. Foreign currency markets have definitely taken a big dive. Now, everyone says, well, America is this, America is that, and American money is going to be worth nothing. But in reality, American dollar has been climbing against all foreign currencies, such as the euro, the British pound, the every currency you can think of, the American dollar has been climbing. And some even say that with the nationalization of banks and the economic turmoil in America, that the American dollar can only go up stronger in value. Of course, if you listen to a lot of the people out there, they may say, well, the American dollar will crash. Either way, I think that it's going to be very cyclical, and it's very difficult when you're in a cyclical market, because everything that's up goes down, everything that's down goes up, and you never know when the timing is. It's not like you're in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 90s where you invest for the long term. You have to get in and get out. It's just the timing is not very right. So now let's talk about what is that? The foreign exchange markets. Let's see here. Two things that can happen in the US dollar. The first thing that can happen in the US dollar is that there can be a nationalization of the US dollar. If nationalization of the banks happen, then of course the US dollar will probably go up. The second scenario is that with the trillions of dollars being pumped into the system, there can be massive hyperinflation. There can be massive inflation. It can be a restart of the Weimar Republic. And if everyone knows what the Weimar Republic is, it's back in Germany, before Nazi Germany, actually during Nazi Germany as well, during at the end of World War II, but it started with I think before World War II and the Nazi Germany, and that was just massive hyperinflation. So the second scenario is that yes, the U.S. dollar can end up being worth nothing. If it's worth nothing, if it ends up being worth nothing, then the good news is that debts will be easily repaid. Because if you have massive hyperinflation, then everything will be a million times more expensive, but debts will be easily more repaid, and gold will probably skyrocket in price. The third scenario is kind of a half the nationalization. It has to do with the nationalization of banks, but it has to do with the gold-backed dollar. So if they go back to the currency where it is backed by gold and other precious metals such as silver, then of course gold and silver will come crashing down to the price of the currency. So there you go. You have three scenarios, which is the first scenario is nationalization of banks, which is already starting to happen anyways with all the bailouts. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is hyperinflation, or just plain inflation later on in the year. And of course, you know what happens then. It's just everything is prices just get higher and higher, and you have a wheelbarrow full of money to buy things, and bread lineups everywhere. Weimar Republic. The third scenario is a gold-backed dollar, and that's the same as nationalization, and that can be instigated by some sort of national emergency, etc., etc. So it's quite a finicky situation. A lot of people, I always say gold and all the precious metals are cyclical. They are very, very cyclical. Silver used to be like 20 an ounce. Now it went back to 8 an ounce. Rhodium used to be 10 grand an ounce. Now it's like 1 grand an ounce. You got to be careful with precious metals because, again, like I said, I say it's cyclical. Gold could come crashing down to $300 an ounce if it is used to back the new currency. So let's say you have $1 million in gold, or even if you have precious metals, if you have actual gold, it may be worth nothing if after the nationalization of banks and the national emergency, there can be a crashing of that as well. So you've got that, and then you've got other worries as well with the new laws in place in Congress that limits freedoms, and you have a lot of other worries that are far, far greater than the economy. But the economy is just one section of that. It's just a very small part in the general overview of particularly what can happen. But of course, the economy collapsing will happen. It should happen, and it's slowly happening now. What's going to happen afterward? Well, there's a lot of options to talk about that. Definitely national emergencies, martial law, Fema camps, these are realities. Congress has passed many laws right beforehand, so they are prepared.